So every single year, something pretty incredible happens all across the globe. An event that involves billions of people completely changing their day-to-day lives for a whole month. You've probably heard of it. It's called Ramadan. And when I say billions, I'm not exaggerating. We're talking about nearly 2 billion people. That's a quarter of all of humanity, all participating in this practice together. For 30 straight days, from the moment the sun comes up to the moment it goes down, they don't eat or drink anything, not even water. So the big question, the one that probably comes to mind right away, is why? Why would so many people choose to do something so demanding? Well, as we're about to see, the answer is way more fascinating than you might think. To really get the why, we have to rewind the clock. We need to go way back to the very beginning. So let's take a trip to 7th century Arabia, to a quiet cave on a mountainside, because that's where this whole story kicks off. The year is 610. We're in Mecca, which is this bustling center of trade, but it's also a place with a lot of inequality. And a local merchant, a man named Mohammed, was really troubled by the greed he saw, by how the poor were being ignored. So he started taking these retreats, heading for solitude in a mountain cave called Hira, just to think and to pray. So during one of these retreats, in the 9th month of the lunar year, something completely life-altering happens. The angel Jibril, that's Gabriel, appears and gives him a single, powerful command. And here's the thing, Muhammad couldn't read or write, but the command was Iqra. It means read or recite. This was the very first word of what would later become the Quran. And that right there is the bedrock of it all. Ramadan is the month when the Quran first began to be revealed. The whole month is basically a commemoration of that first divine message. Now, the actual fasting part, that became an official practice a little later on, in 624 CE, just a couple of years after the early Muslim community moved to the city of Medina. Okay, so we've got the origin story. But that still doesn't quite get to the heart of why fast. The physical act of not eating is really just the tool for a much deeper, threefold purpose. It's about so much more than just being hungry. The name itself actually gives us a huge clue. Ramadan comes from the Arabic root ramad, which means scorching heat. And no, that's not just about the weather. It's this powerful metaphor. The fast is meant to be like a spiritual fire that burns away all the impurities, things like your ego, your bad habits, your indifference to others. It's all about refining the soul. And this whole process of purification is kind of built on 3 main pillars. First, there's taqwa. That's about building this constant awareness of God, a kind of internal moral compass that keeps you accountable, even when nobody's looking. Second is sabr, which means patience. It's about self-control, not just over food, but over your anger, your gossip, your words. And third, and this is huge, is empathy. When you feel hunger yourself, it creates this real physical understanding of what the poor go through every single day. So you have this ancient spiritual practice designed to reset your soul. But what is just absolutely fascinating is that modern science is now discovering that the exact same practice triggers a powerful reset inside your body, all the way down to the cellular level. So let's look at what's actually going on in there. Your body basically goes through 4 stages. For the first 6 to 8 hours or so, no problem. It's just burning through its stored sugar. Easy. Once that's gone, it flips a switch and enters ketosis, where it starts burning fat for fuel. But then, after about 16 hours, something really amazing starts to happen, a process called autophagy. And on top of all that, your hormones start to shift in some pretty interesting ways. Let's zero in on that 3rd stage, autophagy. It literally means self-eating, and it's basically your body's internal deep cleaning and recycling system. Your cells start hunting down and clearing out all the junk, damaged proteins, old cell parts, things that are just cluttering up the system. Think of it like a total cellular refresh. This process is so critical, by the way, that the discovery of how it works won the Nobel Prize back in 2016. And turning on this self-cleaning mode is linked to some incredible health benefits. We're talking about things like lower inflammation, better insulin sensitivity, and a huge boost in human growth hormone. Some studies even suggest it might help protect our brains as we age. It's also why a lot of people who fast report this surprising feeling of sharp mental clarity instead of the brain fog you might expect. Okay, now I have to make this crystal clear. Fasting is not for everyone. It's not safe or recommended if you have certain medical conditions or if you're pregnant. You should always talk to a doctor first. And Islamic tradition is actually way ahead on this. It provides clear exemptions for these exact reasons, because the point is never to cause your body harm. So let's bring these two worlds together. Because when you put the ancient spiritual goals of Ramadan right next to the cutting edge science, what you see is this incredible, beautiful synergy. It's like a unified theory for a total reset for both body and soul. Just look at this parallel. On one side, the spiritual goal is to burn away negative traits like ego and bad habits to reset the soul and achieve a higher state of awareness. On the other side, the biological process is to clear out damaged cellular junk to reset the body for optimal function. That whole metaphor of purification, well, it turns out it's not just poetry, it's literally biology. And after those 30 days are up, the fast ends with this huge celebration called Eid al-Fitr. But what's so beautiful about it is that people aren't celebrating the fact that they just managed to survive it. They're celebrating renewal. They're celebrating the feeling of having become something better, cleaner and stronger, inside and out. And really, that's the lesson here for everyone, whether you fast or not. Ramadan shows us that taking on a challenge voluntarily, a structured, purposeful hardship, isn't just about sacrifice. It's almost like a technology for personal growth. It's a tool that can make us more patient, more empathetic, and just more aware. So we come back to that name, Ramadan, the scorching heat, a force that is designed to burn away everything that's not essential. And that leaves us with a pretty profound question to think about, one that this month poses every single year. After the fire, what do you want to be left with?